To our listeners, welcome back to another episode of Debates Never Die. Happy New Year, confidence of the season. I'm not happy. I thought I was. I thought I could fake it there for a second. I'm actually fucking furious. I am the most annoyed at Arsenal that I've been since Unai Emery is at the helm. I have a lot of things to get off my chest this episode, but you know what? It's not just about me. It's about the cost as well. Mr. Mohlala, how are you, sir? Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Good to be here. Good to be here. I'm all right. Doing good. Doing good. Can't complain. Let me say, can't complain.
Mvu, our traveler, sir, how are you living? How are you feeling? Super Cup champions? I'm sure top of the world on some level.
On some level, yes. It's cold as hell. Like in the UK. Yeah, Barca made my weekend because the other guys just ruined a good week for me. As I graduated, doing real things now. And yeah.
So much to celebrate, but then Arsenal mess it all up somehow,
Twice.
some way. So, to our listeners, of course, you remember the last episode, Mvu and Tabani opposed me when I said Arsenal have so much time, so much room to make this title challenge, a much tighter one. And I was ridiculed. I was ridiculed for believing that, Arsenal are going to get it together. But I'd like to point one thing out, that Tab said, if you're asking for Noneri to play, there's no way you can believe in the squad that much. And I said, no. The issue is not just him. The issue is, it's not about the squad. The issue is, then maybe we have to talk about our coach. Mvu, I don't know exactly how you feel about things and how the game against United unfolded, but personally what I was left with was, I've seen this kind of game far too many times. And I think when you look at how Arsenal lost to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup and in the league, when I think about how Arsenal dropped points against Brighton, when I think about how Arsenal then drew against Amorim, what really, really messed with me is that I went into both the Carabao Cup game and the FA Cup game not believing Arsenal were going to win those games. Like I had a bit of doubt. And where I was a month ago, I feel like that's a bit crazy. And I think that's because when I've watched Arteta's Arsenal, I've noticed that we have a tendency to fall into slumps where we end up in situations where there is no win for the next 3 or 4 games, and you know that that's the case. And it's not necessarily related to just injury. Arsenal have a really bad habit of picking up bad results in clusters. You don't spread them out far enough in the season where you can recover and it's just a blip. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like Arsenal are in a particularly bad moment all the time. And I think that's why so many of our fans are as temperamental as they are, myself included. And the fact that, and now I'm going to some very hectic deep cuts here. I don't know if you remember this, but when Arsenal were lost in the Europa League in 2022-23 season, we lost to Sporting.
Yep.
As in, we lost to Ruben
Amorim.
Yep. On penalties. I have watched this game before. And I have a real issue with the idea that there are certain coaches that just seem to know how to get one over on Arteta. That because he's such a plan A manager that there's these limitations that mean there are certain kinds of coaches that are always going to find a way to take points off us or just beat us in certain moments. Kai Havertz, my brother, I want to, just demystify a lot of things. I don't think you're a shit player. I don't. What I've seen, the discussions, I just don't know if you have. I do think it's a mentality thing. I don't think you have the confidence in yourself to be expected to be the top scorer in the team. You're best at bringing other players in. You're best at associative play, and all in all, Arsenal are okay. But what this left me with, and what the past few weeks have left me with, is the idea that when we get to Jan 2026, if we're in the same position, we have to get the banners out. I don't know how you feel. How do you feel about what happened yesterday? Where do you stand on all of this?
Why do we have to wait so long? So that's my first question before I answer. Why do you have to wait so long?
Because, matter of factly, we're pretty much in exactly the same position we were this time last season. But we also have a Carabao Cup game to play. So did you feel this time last season we were in a position where we need to look at Arteta and potentially look at replacements?
No, but I was in a position last year when we were here. December was a lot worse than how how this December was. I think we lost our blip or this bad run of form was a lot earlier this season than it was last season. But I didn't look at last season's performances in the beginning of the season and think, I don't know where this is going. I know I didn't like seeing Havertz in the middle, but I still saw enough from the attacking players to think, okay, we can do something. I saw enough from Rice. Maybe it's because he was a new player, but I saw enough to think, okay, we can still pick up something and maybe go on a good run. I didn't think we'd go on the run that we did, but a good enough run to be able to have a good account for ourselves. I haven't felt like that this season, and that's something that you challenged me on earlier in earlier episodes. And my main reason is like we're just not performing well. Like forget what last season was like. I don't like the idea of doing that sometimes because we don't focus on how we are performing now. And for me, I think our performances just haven't been up to par, regardless of what the results have been. You can say we're in the exact same position as we were not 9 points behind last season. So no, like the circumstances have changed, and I don't think we're playing well enough to think that we are gonna go in this run. And that's another thing I said to you is like, do I want to believe we can? Yes, I do, but there's no evidence to suggest that we can perform at a higher level than we have. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. We obviously can, but the performances just have not set well with me. So when I was angry at the first Newcastle game, it was not just about the result. The result matters, but we didn't perform well. We didn't perform well the week before. And my anger that you guys might thought was too early, this is where we are now. Like I know what I was seeing, but I was made to seem as if I'm this reactionary guy when I know I'm not. Performances matter to me more than obviously results do, but performances matter to me more than results do. And we just have not been playing well, and that's just what I think. You know what I feel sad for more than anyone? Those defenders, bro, and Saka. There's no way Gabriel and Saliba have performed at the level that they have, and our attackers can't just bail them out, bro. Like shame on them, bro. Shame on them. Shame on them.
So what you said there? You said why do you have to wait till next year to have those conversations? Obviously, I watched the game with Toby and Tabani yesterday.
May I just interject there? I'm not
Go ahead.
saying that the banners must be out now. It's just what is it that you were waiting to see is what I'm asking. It's like, you know what I mean?
One more window where there's nothing else to fix but the attack. Like Arteta's had windows where he's tried to go for attacking talent and he hasn't gotten his top target for whatever reason, right? You can question whether or not those targets were good or not, but that's a different conversation. I think we can't go into this next one, like going into next season, and we sign another centre back, and that's like where the majority of the money goes, or another left back or a right back. Like that's all you bought, really. I think we bought 5 keepers under him, and obviously you can have conversations about the fact that he needed to rebuild the defense because Arsenal was so fragile defensively before. He inherited Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe, and of course Saka, Martinelli. So, you could argue that Arsenal had lots of players at first in an attacking sense. He didn't have to do that yet, but he's phased them all out. We're getting close to a point where the entire squad will be Arteta's squad. And I think after this last window, if we come to this point next year, and I don't believe wholeheartedly, if I don't come onto D&D this time next year, beating my chest saying, I'm just waiting to lift. If we're not talking about booking tickets for the last home game at the Emirates, just as a potential reality, if we're not thinking that's a plausible thing, where we're thinking we want to be there when Arsenal finally lift after actually more than 20 years, then we have to say, Arteta, mate, we've given you everything we could have possibly given you to make Arsenal champions again. The last time it happened, I was 6. I'll be honest with you guys. The memory is fading. I had to think very hard about where I was when it happened a while ago. I turned 28 this year. I don't want to be like a Liverpool fan talk like my father Mushe. He's bro. He was telling me about back in the day when they lost one. Obviously now, they can talk about more recent successes, but I don't want that to be the case. So it's like when I was a kid, Arsenal used to win things, and that's ridiculous. I can't be thinking that the only Champions League final Arsenal have ever been in. I was 9. I went to sleep at halftime. We were winning then. It can't be that that's the only thing I have as a reference point for Arsenal going really deep in the Champions League. Like if you like, there's nothing more we could have given Arteta to provide that platform.
But
And
do
I
you
think
know?
it's one more window. Like
Do
Jan, Arsenal never work in Jan. So let's see.
just slightly off topic, but in the same thing. I think that's what frustrates me the most, and why I am the way I am when I critique us. It's from a place of love, firstly, but these players haven't had that interview where he told us about he'll do everything. Then he does that shit that he did yesterday. But these players should be hungry to win, right? And I don't doubt that they have that hunger, but it's just not translating to them seizing the moment. Everyone can have bad games. Everyone can have bad moments. But at the end of the day, like I said to you guys before, no one's gonna wait for us to win. Like no one's gonna wait. Liverpool can drop as many points as they want, but if we're not ready to pick up points, and we haven't been, if we're not ready to seize that opportunity, it's just gonna pass us by. And what I don't like is we had our first semi-final in how many years?
And that's how
Players,
we showed up.
exactly. Like this is it can slowly become a trend because we've been coming closer and closer, and we just don't seem like we're ready to seize this moment. It felt like that last season. It felt like now the season was gonna kick on. I thought this season for sure would, like I said earlier in one of the earlier episodes, that I thought we'd run away with it, and I had to hold my hands up. But it just seems like now when players need to rise, they hide. No one has to have 10 out of 10 out of performances every time it's a big game, but rise to the occasion is all we want. And
Who are you talking about specifically, though?
well, one, it's your boy. Two, okay,
Online, online. Havertz won
okay.
a penalty yesterday. I'd like that just
Oh
on the
wow.
record.
Okay,
That just
okay. If that's what we want to do, if that's what
no,
we
no.
want to do,
Look,
no.
I'm not,
If
I'm
that's what
not,
we
sa-
want to do,
I'm not saying his performance doesn't deserve criticism because I think yesterday the most damning part about it all was just he showed he can't be R9.
but
Like it,
okay.
it, it felt like the chance of falling to the wrong person, and that's doesn't matter that you get all the chances then because
I
you can't
guess
put them away. It's essentially like
my
Nunez.
I hear you. I guess my main point is not about specific individual players. It's about us as a collective. We don't collectively look like we're ready to seize the moments when we should be. And again, someone can say I'm being reactionary, but a team that's ready to seize the moment does better than what we've been doing now. We don't have to be running away with the league, but when we have our first semi-final in a years, we show up. When we haven't made it past the third or fourth round in the FA Cup for the past 5 years, and we're a team that wants to win trophies, we show up. When Liverpool drop points and you want to win thingies, you show up. That's all it is. That's all a fan can ask for. If we're 3 points behind and we showed up when we are meant to show up, I would not be as angry as I am right now. And I
So the
think that's the biggest thing for me, is that a lot of where we are has been self-inflicted. And I will maintain that. I said that then and I'll say it now. So I think that's where my frustration comes more than anything.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Mr. Mohlala, we haven't heard from you yet. You have to be the level-headed person who takes pride at the fact that Arsenal are shooting themselves in the foot the way we currently are. You're also in a Carabao Cup semi-final. You lost as well, but I feel like your overall temp is much cooler than mine or Mvu's. What do you make of all of this? Do you think there's any merit to not the panic but the frustration that Arsenal are experiencing? Is it bad luck? Is it injuries? Is this one of those years, or do you think there's a deeper problem here?
I just think it's a sensitive time. That's it. The timing is sensitive. Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't want to say too much in the first 10 to 15 that we've been doing this because um I know how you feel. Genuine, I do. Like, I know what this feels like, and it's very frustrating. And there's so many things that you can try and wrap your head around and think around to say maybe it's this, or if only we had that, or we need to remember we've always needed this. And then the other side of the coin is, but look how good we are here, and look how much we have for this. And I mean, if everything goes right, we're gonna get that. And it's a balancing of those emotions when, okay, I'm gonna talk very matter of factly from an objective bystander viewpoint. I just wanted to preface it by saying I get what this feeling is like. I remember 2013-14. I remember the Champions League final 17-18. What Ramos did to Salah. I know. I just say that the timing is sensitive. It's December. All three of us know very, very well that that's the first time the football calendar gets like, okay, who's cool, who's not cool, who's really in it to win it, who's not, and for the season that you've just come out of to be here at this time, it's a sensitive time. It's a sensitive time to not be pulling it off. So I get it. I don't think that there's any reason to panic. I don't think there's cause for alarm. Arsenal do have strength and depth. The Saka injury is a big blow, but I think that you guys will manage defensively for sure. I think the fatigue you're feeling is definitely mostly mental. It's a lot of pressure. This group of players is under a lot of pressure. Like what you said earlier about like where's the hunger, where's the passion to win and everything. I really do think that they have it, but I think it's a sensitive time. I think it's very easy to get the yips. That's like a common sports thing, right? Like when the lights are brightest, you suddenly forget how to play the thing that you're an expert at, right?
Yeah.
And I just think Arsenal are going through a bit of a yips phase. But I do think that you guys are lucky this is happening in the Cups. Genuine. Like, if Arteta came out of this season like, at least we have an FA Cup, at least we have a Carabao Cup. What? Like, who gives a fuck about that? Sorry, excuse me. But like, genuine, like,
I do.
that's what you have
I
to go.
I think we needed these. I said it. I said in early episodes. We needed these cups. I don't care what anyone says. We needed it, regardless
At
of
the
the
end of
league.
at the end of the day, it's because it's a fail safe. It's a thing of if we again can't manage to get over the line with the league or the Champions League, like we do need to win something. I do get that. But I do think also it's fine to shoulder the real responsibility which is we need to win the Premier League. And yes, Liverpool drop points, but then it seems like Arsenal drop points as well. The same game week that we drop, you drop. And as a Liverpool fan, it's been our saving grace because I see the big cracks in our team too. But I think our teams are very similar in that regard. We just had a bit more of a miracle start than you guys did. But it's half of the season left. I think that there's no cause for panic. There's a whole transfer window happening this very month. I don't think you're going to sign Isak this month. I don't think it's going to be Gyökeres. I don't think,
I don't think we're gonna do anything.
like a
Neither do I.
superstar. And the thing is, I don't even think that that's a bad thing. I think if Arsenal are going to be successful in the long term, it's good to keep a cool head. You guys have been bullshit the past couple of games, like everyone knows. And to single out players and stuff, I did single them out on the group, and everyone was like, but there's culprits. There's definitely culprits who have not performed. Anyway, you guys are just structurally too sound to truly go into like a Man United level depression. So I think you'll bounce back.
May I just make a point? I think sometimes again it might be my delivery, but it's okay for fans to be frustrated. It doesn't mean that people are panicking. Like we're angry. You should be angry. Like that's okay. If you have expectations of your team and they are not meeting those expectations, you will be frustrated. You'll be disappointed. So
Yeah,
that's okay to have these weeks. Like you're not gonna walk out of a game you just lost and be like, oh well, the next one. Like who does that?
yeah,
No one
yeah,
does
yeah.
that. So
Exactly.
let people be frustrated, and that's okay. It doesn't mean people are panicking. There will be those odd that are. Don't get me wrong, but none of us here are sitting in a position where we're saying it's all done. It's just it's hard to see where we go from here unless these guys actually show us. And I think that's where I'm as a fan now. If my players say they want to do something, show me. That's it. Just do it on the pitch. It's as simple as that. Like not everything has to be complicated. And I think I get frustrated now in this stage where we try to contextualize everything, and it's like, no, bro, no.
I get that. I get that. Actually, I want to ask the both of you something. That game against Inter was 1-1, right?
Nah, one
No,
no.
we lost.
One
That
no.
was 1.
Should have been 1-1 though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been 1-1. I
Yeah.
think also that's what I came out of it thinking. What were your thoughts, both of you? What were your thoughts on that game in particular?
Vu, you can go first.
I wanted Nwaneri to get more minutes. I think that was the most glaring game where I saw this thing of trying to play Trossard there. It's just not going to work. Like, give it up. And we forced Odegaard to come on in his, like, I think he just got into training that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nwaneri got those here damn minutes again. And I was just like, I could see that this kid is ready to make an impact. Like, I didn't think he was going to be thrown into the deep end by getting an extra 15 minutes. But I was frustrated then, and I thought, okay, I think Arteta's going to do his bullshit again, where he will wait for the most inopportune time to make a change that makes us better. Where
Yeah.
you can do that earlier, like just do it earlier, and like he should be in a position where now he's trying to do whatever he can to win, and that's not you. No winner wins by playing it safe.
True.
That
You
just
have
doesn't
to.
happen.
There's an element of risk that you need to have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
felt after that game.
On my side, I think what I was left with more than anything else was even more certainty about the coach who I've said for a long time is arguably top three in the world. I want to say the best, like getting the absolute
Inzaghi.
most out of their team, Inzaghi.
Yeah.
The fact that obviously Arsenal dominated the ball and had more chances after they taken the lead. You know that does point and give some credence to Arteta, but I didn't think we were going to equalize when I watched that game.
Neither.
Like I knew that the game would go in that way, that we'd have the ball, that we'd be able to like pin them back. But I feel like I've watched enough of Inzaghi's Inter, and bear in mind I'm a Milan fan, with so much grudging admiration for how he uses his squad. Like there's so many different things I see in that team that I wish we had. I wish we were able to do more of.
Yeah.
But again, what Mvu said also rings true, that you'd hope Arteta could get better at using his subs, acting just a little bit faster. And it's strange because they play the formation that Arsenal used to play when we were chasing games. They changed to a 3-5. They play a 3-5-2.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the 2022-2023 season, when we were chasing games, and Nketiah was on next to Jesus, Martinelli was a wing back, Saka was the other wing back, and we're saying, okay, cool, we're going for this right now. Like, doesn't matter. And we chased. That's like when you're talking about those last minute winners, Arsenal kept scoring, like finding a way to like get it out the mud. It's because we were adapted, because we were willing to risk it. Bear in mind, I genuinely do not believe that at the start of the season the aim was compete for a title. If you remember, if you remember well, at the time when I said it after we'd beaten Spurs, Toby challenged me and said, "No, there's no way else to compete for the title this year." It's just like, trust me, this team wants it. Obviously, the team that finished second last season got more points and arguably had a more impressive campaign. But I think you don't agree with me, Mvu, that we were more exciting in that year.
Yeah.
Maybe less solid, maybe less in control of games, but when we won, like there are moments from that season that will
We're
live with us all
popping
forever.
teams, bro. We're
Dude,
popping
like
teams.
maybe it has more nostalgia than the current one does, but I think that Inter game reminded me of what we'd lost, like an ability to win games when you don't necessarily deserve to. Because now it
Yep.
feels like Arsenal are in a position where we kind of need to win 2 or 3-0 in order to like secure anything. That we aren't going to get these scrappy 2-1s when it was tight. We're not getting that extra bit. When Arsenal played Brighton 2 weeks ago, after João Pedro scored, I knew, matter of fact, the Arsenal were not going to win that game. I didn't believe it for a second. And to get to that point with your team this early in the season, it's demoralizing. And
To say,
when I can look towards the teams and I can expect them to win, the fact that I watched the game yesterday with Tabani and Toby, and I didn't think we're gonna win. I didn't. Like after we missed the penalties, Sheik said the same thing. He said, "United have got this. It goes to penalties. It's done." Getting to that point with your team is a dire reflection of things that, dude, Arsenal don't have it. Like there's some mental thing that's clearly just not there, and it was at a certain point in time, and it should still be there, but it's just not. Like players are just too easily deflated, and
Yep.
yeah. So the Inter game, in short, it showed me what we don't have right now. We don't have that inevitability. We don't have that thing that that the other commentary and the Peter always says that this is what champions do. They keep going and go. We don't have that right now. We like when Arsenal are playing badly, Arsenal lose. If Arsenal
And
don't take their chances, you know that they're going to lose. Like you don't believe for that much that there'll be a way that they'll do this.
and this is the point that I was trying to make when you guys again were fighting me. And I hold my hands. It might be my delivery. I know I'm very bad at delivering a message. But when we had those games where we had red cards or something went against us, and I was saying we still just have to go win some of those games. Not all of them, but win games that you don't deserve to win, because that's what champions do. They
Yeah.
find a way. And I was saying, and that's the main point that I was making. Is like, I was left frustrated after some of those games because I was like, okay, we've seen the situation, but what can we actually do to steal the victory? Like I've seen Liverpool do it, I've seen City do it. Like we've seen examples of teams do this before. We've seen United do it. It's not a foreign thing to win a game or look like you will more than anything. I think
Yeah,
that would
like
have
for,
been
for, for, for it to be plausible that you're gonna win
exactly.
this game as opposed to it's a righto, got a red card, it's done now.
Exactly. I would have left in a much different position if that's how I felt after those games. Because that's what champions do, and that's why I think it was so important for this team to do well in the Carabao Cup, to do well in the FA Cup, because whether we like it or not, players, once they've tasted some form of success, that helps them build on.
Yeah. It's a confidence
And
booster. It's a confidence booster.
exactly,
It matters to have won something at that team, to have won something
exactly.
as a collective, which is annoying because this is what Tabani said. But I think in my mind, when I was speaking in December, it was just that that was a chance that was a chance for Arsenal to prove themselves. That was a chance for the players to show up a certain way. And when you look at the fact that when we played Fulham, it's those fine margins where you just don't get the winner for whatever reason. When you play against Everton, to not be able to score a single goal at home, it's just like, dog, just one. One of you needs to step up here. Like when Arsenal start to look desperate, it just looks more likely that we'll lose than it does that we'll find a way at this point in time. Like the players almost look too nervous. And I honestly think we're at a point. That's why I keep saying, Arteta has one more window. He has to get those guys right. Like he's like the annoying thing is technically speaking, Havertz is this guy as an attacker, but there's questions about if Havertz was even bought as a striker, and that on its own is concerning. I mean, I thought he was, but Arteta clearly didn't think that at first. That's not what the papers were saying at the time either.
but you like them at CM though.
I didn't like him at CM.
No, he didn't. No,
I've
Really?
never liked Kai Havertz at CM. I didn't ever
I'm.
think he was a CM.
We're,
I thought he
we're
was a
all on
striker
his
when he got to
back.
Chelsea.
Maybe that
We're,
was Dewey that said that.
Yeah.
we're all on his back for this Havertz thing. It's his son,
Yeah,
but
but I said
yeah,
Havertz was a striker when he got to Chelsea.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
So,
at best, any kind of midfield role, he'd have to be like a second striker, like how Dele Alli used to play as one. And
Sure.
like
Sure.
that's the most he could do as a midfielder in my eyes. Like the best Kai Havertz games, he has to be as close to goal as possible because his movement is his best attribute. Ultimately, he gets chances
Yeah.
other players don't get, considering how tall he is, his physique. That's what makes him good. His intelligence.
yeah. But with that being said, it's not all doom and gloom. I'm very upset. I'm just as upset as I think. I'm less upset because I'm like, you know what? I knew these bastards would do this, but 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 there's still something to play for. And my one wish as a fan is, I want the players to account for themselves, and the ones that don't, we need to replace. Arteta needs to be as ruthless as he is with people he just doesn't like.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
needs to do that. Do
Yeah.
that, and then no one is
And
gonna
and,
be on your back.
and sell
But I feel like
players
that comes from a
earlier,
place
bro.
of that comes from a place of confidence, right? Actually, the reason
Mm.
I asked the both of you about that Inter game is because I wanted to remark on that being, at least for me, because I've watched basically every Arsenal game this season. I mean, also for a long time. That being the clearest indicator of what's wrong with Arsenal this season. The fact that you have a very high quality team that's capable of controlling games in many different phases um, for long periods of time, but there is this just strict rigidity in your tactical approach that, yeah, it cripples your team. Like you guys, like Khanya, like you mentioned, that 3-5-2 when you're chasing games. Why was it
Really,
so avoided in that game?
dude.
Like it's one of those things where, like, I look at Arsenal where you guys have maybe not performed as highly and I this season, and I think to myself, where's your Divock Origi, man? Like, where's your kitchen sink? Like,
Like
I
he's
don't
gonna
know.
bag, bro. This guy's
I
gonna
don't know
bag
how you're gonna
regardless.
do it, but like, you just go on there. Where's your Chicharito? Where's your guy that's like, bro, get that guy up there. For me, it was Nketiah. That's who I thought. That's what I thought
Was
he
the
was
guy?
being molded into. Like, he's
Mm,
being molded into, dude. You are a specialist demolition man. When we need
mm.
you, just bags, man, just score.
And and
But
and and again, it's not messed up that we sold Nketiah and then didn't buy anyone. We didn't
yeah,
buy another guy. We didn't buy another striker.
Yeah, he
Like
or
thought
like
he th-
boost someone up or something.
he thought Havertz was gonna.
he already had Havertz. He had Havertz and Nketiah last season. Why would you
Because
reduce your
Jesus
attacking
was
options?
injured. It's because Jesus was injured. He probably thought that this guy was not gonna get injured again. And
Guys,
Godspeed.
man, if he
Hopefully he
thought that, he is an
recovers.
idiot. Jesus,
Mvua,
half his career has been injured. Literally, half of his footballing career has been injured.
I'm a Christian, but I do not believe in Gabriel Jesus. I don't. I've got
Nah,
nothing.
nah,
I've
guys,
got nothing.
guys.
I've got nothing.
Nah, man, it's done, man. Yeah, it's done. I won't lie,
And
man.
and I,
Asante,
and I
Yeah,
hate
it's
it.
done.
And I hate it because he's such a gifted footballer. But if that was, we said it in that episode that we had in person, that if Ethan Neri is being expected to play, that on some level is a failing of Arteta. If
yeah,
Gabriel Jesus is being relied on to this extent and his body can't hold up, that is a failing of Arteta.
yeah,
Yeah,
If Bukayo Saka gets injured and there's nobody else and you don't trust Raheem Sterling, that is a failing on Arteta on some level because you either can't keep players happy enough to keep them at the squad, like Reece Nelson, like Nketiah, like Fabio Vieira. Like these are your guys. You give them contracts. You keep them. You make sure they stay. You and the sporting director, whoever it is that aligns on it, right? You can't use these players. Like there's a misalignment that happens somewhere. And if Edu's gone, unfortunately the buck does fall to Arteta's feet because who else is going to be accountable for how these players are used? We've spoken way
mm,
too much about Arsenal. For those who listen to D&D who are not Arsenal fans, I hope you enjoyed us commiserating our losses. I will say this: I think we beat Spurs this coming week. I that hasn't changed much for me.
I
We
will
have to
be
beat
there.
Spurs. We have to beat Spurs because if we don't, as Siba
high
said, we
scoring,
then
high scoring or low scoring.
um, I think high scoring. I think
Mm,
like a 3-2. I like we have to let the handbrake down. Like we've been creating so many chances in all of these games. The hope, right, is that at some point it clicks. Because if it's not then, before we have that Carabao Cup semi-final against Newcastle, I can't imagine what that does to like the collective spirit around Arsenal right now. Because I want to say to some extent we've been unlucky, right? That you're missing penalties when Havertz is missing chances the way he's missing chances. When Martinelli's hitting the post, you're hoping there will be a game where it comes together. It can't go on forever, right? Surely not. So I'm optimistic about the rest of January, but once again, and I hate it because Tabani was right, I have to be. I am still very frustrated, but like I said, I've said in the past few hours, Jan 2026. If things do not look up, I will have my banner out. Let's
mhm.
let's wait. Let's wait to see how we do things. Let's let the season come to its natural end. Let's see whether or not spirits pick up again. That's enough about Arsenal. We do have to touch on Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. There's obviously not much to say at this moment in time. He's very, very new into this job. He has already had some very, very awkward losses. The game against Bournemouth, the fact that they've beaten them 3-0 in back-to-back years at Old Trafford. It's crazy. But he's also had very, very impressive big game performances. Obviously against Liverpool, against Arsenal, against Manchester City. You can't ignore that. Uh, I've had Toby now tell me that United are back. I'm lying. He hasn't said it yet, but he's been praising players who you think aren't really going to elevate United up to that serious a level. But United fans have something to shout about, right? They have an ability to win games that they don't deserve to win. The United hoodoo is not gone. They are able to call upon the fact that they are Manchester United, and that's enough. So many different times. Mr. Mohlala, as someone else who has recently experienced this bullshit that they seem to be able to conjure, how are you feeling about Amorim in general?
I like him. I like New Look Man United. I think that United they get to the point of being annoying when they do this for too long. You know, like when they're playing well and stuff, and it's like it's scrappy and it's fun. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at times, it's fun. It's fun to. I don't know, they're like a cult team, like a Villa or a Leicester or something, They're cute, man. They're cute, dog. They're very, very cute. But it's only when they do it too long that I don't like it. I will say this about Amorim. I think they're gonna go back to that kind of status under him. I think they're gonna start getting results. The way that I'm seeing it is that he's reestablished a spine for Manchester United, which keeps them like it keeps the roles rigid, but the tactics fluid, if that makes sense. Harry Maguire resurgence under Amorim has been a thing of beauty for me to see. I've always liked Harry Maguire. I always thought that the hatred of him was forced and stuff. I mean, I've liked him since he was at Hull. I think he's a really, really great centre back. Like he's very, very good,
Yeah.
and he's been maligned for too long. And I think that the older he's gotten, more experience, more heart that he has, I think he's actually the perfect leader for Manchester United alongside Bruno Fernandes that they would need right now. And I think it's the spine thing that Amorim has gotten right in the past couple big games against us. Yeah, Maguire to Fernandes to Amad Diallo. Jeez, wow, hats off to him. That kind of spine going forward. It's hard. It's hard to just keep United out. They're not perfect, obviously, but they're doing a really, really great job. I just think Garnacho is shit. Other than that, yeah, yeah.
Okay, fair enough, Ganacho, there's not much to say, brother. I hope that you win your place back in this team because Diallo is currently snatching your chain in a crazy, crazy way.
Crazy way.
But Mvu, where do you land on Amorim United right now? Do you reckon they're on the verge of turning a corner, or just it's just good results so far? Too early to judge. Where are you on this?
I don't think it's good results so far. I don't think it's just good results so far. I saw signs even in the earlier games which they lost where there seemed to be more patterns of play. I don't remember what game it was exactly, but they had cut the ball back to I think Ahmad Bruno, the same type of sequence of play like 3 or 4 times, and it found the player each time, but the quality at the end of it was just not good. It might have been Hoyland or Xerxes, one of those two guys. I think that was the first game. Like, never mind the intangibles, like how he speaks to the media, how realistic he is about the expectations of this team. Just strictly football. I saw things in those games, in those early games. I was like, okay, it seems like there's a coach who is able to get through to them in some level, but it was the players maybe not necessarily trusting him so early into in his tenure, not understanding the system. I was even telling Tab, the guy who doesn't watch 90 minutes of United games but will comment on them. that he should be a bit more lenient on Ruben Amorim. Like, he just got here, and
Yeah.
I think I think he will be the manager to take them back to where they should be at at this moment in time. Like, United should be a top 6 team. United should be looking to get into the Champions League, and I think in the next season, if not this one, because I don't think he'll do it this season, but he will get them there. And where they go from there, I'm not sure, but I believe that he is the right appointment for where they are right now. I'd like to believe that he'll be able to take them back to where they used to be. But I think that part is too early to tell for me.
Okay.
I'd just be judging based on like what I think has gone well for them, and not account for what hasn't gone well for them, like in those bad games where the
Yeah.
players were not accounting for themselves. But I do think now these players have shown them a side where, like, yo, if we need to, we can work and whatever. And the minute that they don't, I trust them to be ruthless, to be like, okay, you're not giving me
You're not
100%, you're
playing. You're
gone.
not there.
You're gone. And that's
Like
exactly
Garnacho.
what they need. Exactly. And that's exactly what they need. They don't need a coach that's going to be nice to them, put their arm around them. No, they need someone to say, Chief, you must come work here. So I think he's been good. I've been really impressed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we all have, and I think it's interesting that this being an episode where there are no United fans on the pod, that everyone's left saying Manchester United's manager is something serious. I mean,
Yeah.
we've already suffered at his hands, and even though Ten Hag beat Liverpool and Arsenal, I don't think any of us ever thought that he was ever that guy in the same way United fans did.
yeah,
So honestly, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. I think the idea of United being bad is funny at all times, but I think it's bad for the Premier League holistically. I think it's the league needs United to be what they are, to be the absolute best version of itself. Right? You need the big
Yeah.
teams to show up in a certain way. As much as I enjoy what's happening in Forest, it's great to see Alanga. It's great to see Nunes Espirito Santo, redeeming himself after what happened to Spurs. Forest
Hmm.
being in the top four is the result of City and United not being what they should be, ultimately, more than anything else.
Exactly.
Shout out to them, though. Genuinely incredible season. A fun fact, Forest currently have the same amount of points that Leicester had in their title-winning season.
oh wow.
So I'm not saying they're going to win it,
Uh,
but I do think that's an interesting
yeah.
fact that they are going at that rate at this moment in time.
That's a very interesting fact. I wonder what position Leicester were at the time.
It'll annoy you to know that I'm fairly certain that Arsenal were
It
top at
was
the time.
second and Arsenal's first. Yeah.
Yeah. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks after we'd beaten City. Not long after Leicester had beaten Liverpool, so they were still chasing us, and we know how that ended.
Ooh,
Um,
Jamie Vardy finished us. My
I,
goodness.
I knew you'd remember. You'd remember.
Ugh.
But speaking of City, it seems like they are in the middle of a rebuild. I don't like how they're doing it. I think that their approach is very, very interesting. Mr. Mamouche from Frankfurt seems like he's joining. Tab, you can suck a dick because you made jokes when I brought him to the group the very first time, as if it was some random player. No. That is a player recognized by Manchester City,
You, you,
maybe top 5 recruiters in the world. Uh, but
you
hey,
know
man,
you know
hey,
what we
man.
should do now?
Tab zero ball knowledge.
Mm.
We should make Tab watch a 90, like just 90 minutes of football before you can comment on anything again.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Like, you should actually
When
be
last did
quiet.
Tavani watch 90 minutes of football in general?
Guys,
Any football game?
no one has been around him when he's watched the full game of football. No one. No one. We don't know.
nah.
Nish.
To be fair, the last time you watched the full
Khanya,
90
don't
was
ruin it.
Arsenal.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it, bro.
He
I'll
was
hold
not
my tongue.
focusing. I know he's on his phone. I know he took a
I'll,
call. I know he took a really long call, like a 30
Yeah.
minute call. I know he took
I'll
a
hold
30-minute call.
I'll hold my tongue. I'll hold my tongue. But Manchester City are on their way to signing Omar Mamouche. On top of that, they're also signing a player from Uzbekistan. Shout out to him, representing the country to that level. I hate the idea that a centre back that is 20 years old from Uzbekistan that has 2 seasons in a top 5 league can be worth 50 million, but we'd need an entirely different episode to discuss transfer fees at this point in time. City also linked to a super young centre back from Brazil. I think his name is Victor Reis. I could be lying to you guys. The idea that City aren't signing midfielders at this point in time and aren't directly trying to replace Rodri sounds like they're not thinking about this season. They're thinking about trying to rebuild in the long term, right?
Yeah.
Which is an appropriate thing. But I just think with the way Pep extended, I don't think he's extending past this current contract, right? I think we're aligned there. What do you guys think of the rebuilding job and just in comparison to how they could have gone about things? I think we've seen lots of teams try and prepare for the future in different ways, or just engage in the transfer in a certain way. But when I look at City, you think that they'd still be thinking win now because whoever they sign now, they can't sign Pep specific players. They have to sign players that will make sense for the team in years to come. So, Mvu, where do you land on it? Where do you land on the idea that Mamouche uh, and Victor Reyes are they saving lights or bright lights for the season?
I mean, for me, it's hard to judge those two signings specifically because I've only seen a bit of Mamouche. I haven't seen the other guy that they've signed. But I guess just to answer your question more holistically and not focus on the signings is I don't think I don't think even the signings now, like Savinho's a young player. I think I think Pep has somewhat been it's been on the back of his mind that this team is in need of a rebuild.
Mm,
But I think the fact that they just continuously win these titles that it was probably not as urgent as he thought it needed to be. And I think the
mm,
Rodri injury is what's probably exacerbated this process. I think they probably were going to look at start rebuilding this team at the end of the season and not now.
yeah.
I think that was their plan. Um, I mean, Kovacic started the season quite well. Rico Lewis was there. There's talks of Walker leaving. They let Julian Alvarez go. Like there were just some weird things that happened with the squad that I thought, okay, I think maybe I think end of the season, if they kept the same trajectory and just kept on winning, and Haaland was a freak, that they would have like ridden that wave, you know.
Mm,
Mm.
So I don't know if I can say it's weird on their parts. I'm not sure, but I was just under the impression that this rebuild was probably for next season and not now. But I didn't think that they would be buying players to win right now, considering the core of their team now. Like
mm.
only a few of them are aging. The defenders, well, John Stones is not fit. Surprise, surprise. But their
Walker on
defenders,
his way out.
but Diaz
Mm.
is not old. Guardiola is
Mm,
not old. I don't know how old Ake is. Um,
Not old.
you know what I mean?
Mm.
Savinho, young. Doku,
mm,
young. Haaland,
mm,
young. Foden is
mm,
not the
Foden.
oldest guy. So
mm.
that I don't think it's been that weird. They've just been performing weirdly more than anything that might heighten that there's a need for this rebuild. But I just think it was in his head that at the end of the season and not right now.
Okay.
Rodri not
That's
being
fair.
injured probably changes everything.
Mm. Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I also think that maybe they need to figure out exactly what happens with De Bruyne before they can make a commitment to
Exactly.
like the next guy. So no,
Exactly.
that's measured enough. That's measured enough. Other news in the Prem, we've seen West Ham get rid of Lopetegui. Toby, I still expect my apology before the end of this month. And we've also seen Everton reappoint David Moyes. I thought sacking um, Dyche was a weird move at first.
I think
Having read a
this
bit more about it,
stinks.
I thought so too. I thought so too. But I read a bit more about it from the Athletic, and apparently, Daesh's belief was that the players weren't responding to him anymore in the way that they previously were, and that Everton might be best suited trying to get somebody else in who can try and get
Oh.
some more out of these players in this time where they need to start picking up points again. And I think that in a situation that is so far from ideal, you they couldn't have done better than to bring David Moyes back.
Don't you that those Everton players are unprofessional then? Like what the hell is that? Like for the manager to be
That's
like, I think I need to step back because
mm.
these guys are not responding the way they usually do. That's so unprofessional.
Well, I mean
I feel like it's
that's part
fairly
of
common in football, though.
like people lose the
Like,
dressing room, bro,
Yes.
to some extent. Maybe
yeah.
not as explosively as it typically happens, but people get tired of hearing the same voice.
I guess so, but he's also saved them last season. Like, what do those players think they are?
Insert Dark Knight quotes. Live long enough to see yourself become the villain, you know.
Mm.
But
No.
no, for real, I get that. I do think that the Moy signing was a really great move by the Everton management. Purely because I think David Moyes is a good manager, a very good manager actually, who had very big successes very recently in his career. Another thing, Everton is a culture club, and to have a cultural icon at the helm of your club, it's a big deal.
Mm.
It's a big deal. Like with a club like Liverpool as well, Barcelona, for example, there's just some clubs where it's like it's important for you to almost be like a cult leader for the voice of the people type,
Mm.
manager. And for David Moyes, it's really good for Everton because Everton actually, in my opinion, have a lot of really good players and should be doing a lot better. I
Mm.
thought that Sean Dyche, I love him as a personality and everything, but as a manager, he was not doing a great
Enough.
job.
Mm.
The past couple of months, he was dropping the ball a little bit. And I can't remember the last Merseyside derby where I was like, geez, that could, it's a tough one now.
I mean, you,
Like,
you lost you lost the most recent one though.
yeah, but that's because we were shit. It's not because Everton are
Oh,
imposing at all.
you know what? I'll
And
hold it. I'll hold it.
I mean, wait,
And
did we
end of
lose
this,
that?
yeah, end of the season.
Yeah,
When you guys were going through your free fall.
yep, you did. 1-0.
Shit, we did do that one now.
Mm.
Why did I remember that as a
Salah was
game?
shanking like crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
remember
you
that.
know,
I
you
think you're
know,
thinking of
you
the
know
game against
Salah. You know
Villa where
Salah
you
in the
guys drew.
crunch time, bro. You can't rely on him. You know, it was
Hey
Mane.
man,
It was
it's fine.
Mane that was pulling the weight there. It's crazy.
That's you know what, and I'm glad that we have Gakpo now because he's fulfilling that thing whenever like Salah at least Gakpo does something. But that's
You
a whole other thing that I want to talk about. One of these days, I do want to talk about Gakpo's influence in the past couple of months. He has been wildly good, but I digress. I think
type
David
Trippier
Moyes.
for that episode. He hates him.
Yeah, actually, I need that. I need that. Uh, David Moyes, great signing for Everton, and I think that they're gonna come up again. Seamus Coleman at right back still. Let's geez, let's forget the past, please.
Do you guys
Period.
think that they'll survive then?
It's hard to say. It's really
Interesting.
really hard to say
Actually,
at
no.
this point.
Yes,
How much
yes.
experience does Moyes have from this position? I think that would
Tons,
be my main. Okay,
tons, tons,
joining,
tons.
but
joining,
not
and
recently,
finishing though.
right?
The two times he joined West Ham, they
It
were
was
on the verge
bad.
of relegation. Yeah, and
Oh
they
yeah,
still
true,
sacked him
true.
for. Let me not talk about that too much.
For winning the
But
Conference League.
imagine. But no, I think Moyes is equipped to do it. It's just about whether or not like the right players stay fit. Like Everton have had so many moments in the season when you've looked at their squad and just been like, dude, when certain players aren't fit, there's nothing here. Like they're
Yeah,
really not an
true.
amazing team. They're not a top half side right now. So
Mm.
if Branthwaite goes down again, if they are in a position where Coleman must start every single game,
Jack
if
Harrison is injured.
like if
Big
in
time.
Ndiaye isn't fit, there's nothing happening there. Like they are reliant on so few individuals right now to win them games. I am nervous for them, but I do believe in
Yeah,
David
they've got
Moyes enough.
they've got fake Oaks, man. Beto, do you remember that guy?
No, don't do this. Don't do this.
What the
Don't do
hell is
this. Don't
that?
do this. I hope Beto scores
Fake
against
ass
Liverpool.
player.
No, no, no.
Nah,
Have
nah,
some
the
respect. Have some
fake niggas
respect.
in
Have
that
some
team.
respect. But anyway, Mvu, we've spoken about the somber realities of our team, about Liverpool and their almost unassailable lead at this point in time. Let's talk about something that made you very happy. We have Barcelona winning the Super Cup. First things first, is the Super Cup a trophy?
Mm.
Because Rindai seems to think it's not a trophy. I don't know if he's just trying to protect his own ego, but he thinks no trophy was lost yesterday. Nothing happened, pretty much.
So I never used to think it was because of the time it used to be played. It used to be played before the season started, but they've changed the format to have the semifinals and finals. So I think now it's also in the middle of the season. I think now it's more of a trophy than it was before. But leave Rendai, he's just coping because he also said today, which I just completely disagreed with, where he said if their starting lineup was better, they would have won. And I was like, no, like, and he replied by saying we're not that good, which had nothing to do with my point. Because Madrid, as a matter of fact, also have not been that good. But yeah, I'd say it's a trophy. I think it's a trophy now. I think it's a
Okay,
trophy.
so Super Cups are trophies. Is the Community Shield a trophy? While we're here,
No,
it's not.
no.
Again, like I said, you must just remember the
Timing,
reasons why.
packaging. Oh,
Yes,
okay,
one seems more of a trophy than it is than the other. If this thing was happened in the beginning of the season, I'd probably say no immediately. But they've just
okay.
changed the whole format for this reason. So I don't know.
No, look. I think I asked this because having watched Milan win the Italian version of the same trophy about a week ago,
Yeah,
I sorry, I had such a dumb thought just now. Um, I have the idea in my mind that because of how it's packaged right now, it definitely is.
yeah,
Right. I don't think you can shrug off losses of that nature when you come to semifinal and you've had to play on this day to win this thing in the same way that you can the curtain raiser when you're not even playing your first team. I think you look at the Community Shield like lineups, you look at the lineups for the Super Cup. Those are those teams' best teams. Right. There's no one that was saved for some other fixture. There's no one who was preserved because this game is not important. No, no, no. Players who were rushed back from injury. I don't think you play Jude in that game if that game is not a trophy. It's not for an actual trophy,
yeah.
right? And to some,
I don't think that's what makes it a trophy or not a trophy. The level of competition in a final. That's just me. I don't think that that's what makes it a trophy, not a trophy.
what makes a trophy you?
I think that a trophy is one through like an arduous, long process. Like a competition should have its own identity. A Super Cup in general, even like the European Super Cup, like the Champions League, Europa League, also not a trophy. Like it's fun. It's a really nice game to watch. But no one's like, oh, dude, we have 4 Super Cups. Like, no, no, you don't. Even if you do, who cares? Like, that's not. And those are their strongest 11s. It's a good
Yeah.
curtain raiser, like the Community Shield as well. But I'm sorry, its identity is literally to say, okay, let's put these two very good teams at the start of the race. What are they saying? Where are we at? What's the standard for football that we can expect? I think that's its function. I think a trophy is something won over a long period of time. So anyway,
I
that's
think
just my thing. That's
no,
what I believe.
I think that's fair.
That's valid. That's valid. I can't fight that. I can't fight that. But technicality aside, Barca won a Classico. Mvu, how are you feeling? Personally, I don't want to talk about this, so this is for Mvu and Mohlala.
I'm happy, bro. Like after we conceded that goal, the first message I sent in the group was I was like, nah, surely not. Because I felt at that point like we had a bit of control over the game. We just missed an opportunity, Rafinha. But after the goal, I was comfy, bro, comfy.
Mm.
Like not to say that Madrid were not creating some chances, but at no stage did I feel until Chesney got that stupid red card that, damn, there's a game on our hands. Actually, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Let me not lie. Let me not lie. When it was 2-1, I was like, wow, Classico's back. Like end to end
Mm.
football. Then we scored the third. And I was like, okay, we're doing this again. And we were
Mm.
just peppering them and peppering them and peppering them. So I'm very happy. I think on a performance level, this was much worse than the game at the Bernabeu for Madrid. In the sense
Yeah.
that we were more dominant in this game than the other one. But it's nice to see that we're also quite clinical. We didn't have
Mm.
to have so many chances in the first half to bury Madrid, which is nice. And I like the intensity in which we attack and are relentless. I still worry about not dropping this high line at some stage of the game because you're gonna just high. You can't play. Coleman had an interview with Rio Ferdinand the other day saying how you just get tired towards the end of the season. Like you just can't play like that for so long. So I wish Hansi Flick would like tone down on that a bit. Like pump, get your 4 goals or whatever it is, and just let it teams demotivated. Let them come at you. Just take a little bit of a step back, continue attacking because we're good on the break. But yeah, all in all, I was very happy. I was very impressed. It really solidified like my belief in Lamine. Like, bro, he's our best player. Like, that's crazy. He's our
Yo,
best player at
yo,
what
yo,
17, 18.
yo.
He's
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 special.
so good. He's intelligent. I think more than anything that I've like, he's just cold, bro. He's cold.
Jin- Khanya
Tabani
and I
was
were talking
telling me,
about this. That
yeah,
you
go on.
know, we were just saying that it's so weird watching Lamine because every single thing he does on a football pitch, you're like, oh yeah, damn, bro, that was pretty good. That was a pretty smart decision. That
Right?
was like, oh yeah, I mean, like that was just amazing. That was like every time he gets the ball, every pass, every cross, every shot, every turn, every pass back, everything he decides to do is like that. That's probably the best thing that you could do, and you do
Exactly.
that every time. So
Which is
it's weird.
scary. Which is scary for
Yeah.
someone his age. Just a side note before I continue that it does worry me how much of a drop off we have when he doesn't play though.
Yeah.
It's a big worry for me. But hopefully he stays fit. But yeah, I'm very happy, and I'm the icing on the cake was Tab was telling me no one cares about those Classico games before. Uh, Pedri must rise against Jude today, and I
Mm,
like Jude. I love Jude. All I just said was I think Pedri's been better than him this season. That's all. I thought he's been better, and one guy just didn't.
I'll
One
hold
guy
that.
was not there. That's all I'll say. I'm forced to hate
Look,
on
look,
someone I
look,
like.
look. I have to step in now and defend Jude. He wasn't fit, bro. He wasn't fit. I don't think that
Yeah.
yesterday was a fair reflection of Jude. What Rendai said in the group about Ancelotti picking the wrong 11, I think that is true. I don't think Madrid win that game though because he didn't do enough to adapt to the fact that Barca played the intensity that they do. Madrid played into
Mm,
Barca's hands yesterday
Yep.
more than anything else. Of course, Barca were relentlessly clinical in a
yeah.
way that they're teams who are destined to lift often are, right?
Mm,
They look like a team that will put anyone to the sword. In fact, they've done it to Madrid twice. I've done it to Bayern as well. Like
yeah.
you can't fault them. It almost makes that blip, that loss against Atletico Madrid look really strange. It's just like, where was that on that day,
Bro, we
Mm,
right?
on any other day we win that game. Like I know you watched, bro. We were on to them. The players were just
But
so wasteful, so
yeah,
wasteful.
but you have to applaud what Simeone does. The unfortunate thing is that
No,
if you're
no,
playing a
yeah,
side besides Atletico Madrid, I'd
yeah,
agree with you.
yeah,
Atletico can put that performance out again and again and again, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop that.
yeah.
Simeone knows how to win 2-1. He doesn't deserve it better than anyone else.
Yeah, and even just what you're saying there, what I think I know what I took issue with Rindai's point was the most is just that it's not the first time it's happened this season. Like we thumped you at home as well, so you can't just say that this a lineup would make you win. I think that was my
Yeah.
biggest. It's like no, like
yeah.
surely you have to talk about your tactics and your solution
Mm,
cannot be to put your best midfielder at right back just because you can put in a shift and that will win you the game. Like no, like
exactly.
there's a personnel and coaching issue at Madrid, and they're a bit fortunate that, and Barca as well, that we play in the league that we are in, where we've been allowed to drop points when we've not played well, and we're still in the mix. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
how they've played in the Champions League and the points that they're not picking up shows that you can't. They need to be better. They need to be better.
Yeah. And Madrid have really, really been way too inconsistent this season. I agree. It is it's a personnel thing. I was speaking earlier with Dewey actually about um, Jude and how he's one of those players that like just it's his personality to give 110%. That's just it's part of the reason he's so successful, but it comes very naturally to him. It's who he was born as, like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. Some players, or like Roy Keane or whatever. Some players are just like, I I don't know any other way to be. I will give 110%, but it's important to see that, okay, one, Jude Bellingham is very young.
Yeah.
He is a very, very young player. And even though he's got that character and got that mentality, he is a man and a body. And he may have the mental strength, but physically you need to be managed. You need to be managed. And I think that this season he's really not been managed very well. I think he's managed to like eke out really, really impressive performances out of sheer willpower, which is why I said that he's been up there with some of the highest performing players in the world this season. But he's just been mismanaged, and a lot of Real Madrid has been mismanaged. I think the entire backline is just, the drop off in quality has been really, really bad. Militao has no knees anymore. Carvajal, jeez.
He just done his
That, but,
ACL, bro.
but I didn't mean to say it like that, but like, but for real, the midfield is also, the drop off in quality has also been quite evident. There's been frustrations. Germany and Kamavinga have been frustrated by selection so often this season, and it's made them, like, it's been a stop start type of thing that it's obviously weighing on the mind. So I think that Madrid do obviously still have like the highest quality in the world probably, but Ancelotti, for all your greatness, there's been a mismanagement. There is most likely a bigger reason. There's probably relevant excuses to be made. But the fact that the results speak for themselves, they are not being managed well. That group. So Barcelona winning the Super Cup and the way that they played, I just think that it's night and day in terms of management from Flick versus Ancelotti. I think Flick has done an exceptional job.
No, I think you guys are right. I think you summarized it quite well. I want to throw a span in the works, though. I do think that Flick, ironically, suffers from the same thing Arteta does, in that he is very much a plan A manager. His plan is just far more intense than Arteta's is. Do you have any concerns that at some point in time he might not get the results he's getting? Because all teams that do that spell where the finishing just isn't what it is. I think Barca already had their blip when their lead went away, right? When you've got Rafinha performing the way he's performing now, you've got Lamine, you've got players where you're going to score, right? Like you will always be an immensely powerful team going forward. But I think the later you go in the Champions League, there will be managers that have a bit more cunning, a bit more guile. And I don't know if you can do this against Inter, funny enough.
I think we can, because yes, I am worried about that, but I think we have Flick has quality, bro, in this team. I think that's our saving grace, is that the reason why Plan A is working so well is not just the coaching thing, but they are quality players and they're stepping up. Like I've sent a message about Rafinha on the group today. He's turned the tide for me. I did not want that guy at the club when he first signed. I ridiculed the signing, but he has been playing at a much higher level this season than he ever
Also,
has.
is it just me or did he get faster? Because I like
He's
Rafinha,
quick,
but
eh? I didn't
he
know he was
wasn't
that,
this fast.
bro.
He wasn't this fast. He wasn't
I
this fast.
He was pacey, guys.
You know,
Like this.
Flick,
He
Flick,
wasn't
Flick,
like this.
Flick has come with these things, bro. Because Brian was moving like this, and Coutinho got buff. I don't know what you feed these guys.
Guys, the
Like there's
road
something.
regulations in Spain are very flexible. It's a very
There's
free
some,
country.
there's
Hey, man.
something going on there. I won't lie. There's something going on.
Even
Listen,
Gareth Bale and stuff.
Rafinha looks like a very fast guy right now.
listen.
I'm like,
If Rafinha
no
suddenly
way.
ends up injury prone, in the next 2 years, I will be demanding tests. Something has to be looked at, because I like Rafinha. I like the guy. I watched enough of him, and maybe because at Leeds he was so bored to feet, you didn't get to see him running behind as much, right? They didn't have that many creators. Maybe what Flick has shown is just that more than anything else, Rafinha has the potential to be an unbelievable outlet, as he has been this season.
But
But
Yeah,
wow, that guy's fast, boys.
I know.
My
I
goodness.
but he's juicing though. He is juicing.
Something.
I don't
No.
want to be like, but I don't want to be a party people. But I am also. I've had this opinion for close to 10 years. Like, yes, in Spain, the Cristiano Ronaldo, the 438 games, 450 goals. Juice! Juice! He was juicing. Bale
you,
was juicing.
you're
Modric was
saying people.
juicing.
You're saying people look superhuman because yes, dude, you guys are lying.
But
Yes, because they have performance enhancing drugs coursing through their veins. Yes. Yes,
I
absolutely.
will say though, like the amount of time that players spend and like clubs spend on recovery is I don't think we understand how much goes into recovery,
Mm,
finances and efforts, everything. But look, Kanya, back to your point, I do worry about that, but I'm just hoping that Flick can understand as the season progresses that you don't have to play the same way all the time. I think
mm,
the thing is that the way he's playing now will be our best opportunity to put goals past teams. Because whether we like to hear this or not, I don't think we have. When you look at our back four, right? I
mm,
think this plan suits them the best when we have at least two fast defenders, which we do, or three. But if you were to try and make us play a bit deeper all the time, like every game, and make those guys defend so much, I don't think I think teams will cut through us. So
mm.
Yeah.
it's quite hard to be like, he mustn't change his plan a bit. Sorry, he must change his plan a bit. When I do think the way he plays also gives strength to the personnel we have at the back. But I do worry. But I don't think Inter Milan will be our stumbling block. I think it'll be a very difficult game. I just back the quality that we have. I back Lamine to have an answer. I back Pedri to have an answer. Lewandowski is doing his things again.
Liverpool would be the real test.
I
Honestly.
genuinely think would beat you guys. Just the first the first the
Yo,
first
this
leg
is
just has to be at Anfield.
delusional.
The first leg just has to be
Okay,
at Anfield.
okay. I'll concede that Anfield is a cheat code. It's a cheat code.
But
There's definite blood magic we're doing over
but
there.
but but beating you doesn't have to be 4-0 or 4-1. I just think would have more than you on the day. That's it.
But that's the thing. We'll throw the kitchen sink at attack, and that's also what I'm speaking to.
But you guys are
The
also
fact that,
vulnerable at
but
the back.
we are, but Liverpool will, like Inter. I think we can suffer. You guys, we can get through. We can get through those gates if needs be. We
Hopefully we
can.
see each other in a final.
Oh
Let's
man,
see.
I'd
Okay,
love
okay.
that.
Let's
Let's
stop the
see.
scenario planning. Let's put
No,
it.
no, no,
Let's
no, no,
bring this point to an
no, no.
end
Look,
right now.
look,
I'm glad you guys got your licks in. Let's stop fantasizing. I hope neither of your teams make it to a final. I hope that we're all sad and instead we just see by in there.
This guy,
And
Right.
the company. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. Like even Emery before either one of your teams. But
Jeez.
anyway, we've discussed tons. We've discussed the landscape of Europe holistically. I think the biggest transfer that we're going to see this window is probably Kvaratskhelia on his way to PSG. I said immaculately. I'm so
yeah,
happy
nah,
with
nah,
myself.
nah, 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 nah.
I was there.
I was
You
thinking,
see, there was too much. There was too
nah,
much.
nah,
There was
shut
too much
up, nah,
happening
nah,
at
nah,
once.
shut up,
To have
shut up.
said the name and
Absolutely
then
butchered that.
no, but then I pushed it immaculately. I'm so hacked. I was there. I done it. I got over the first. I got over the big hurdle.
Oh my
But
goodness.
anyway, Kibicha's move is probably the biggest we're going to see. I'm sad about it because I think it reflects poorly on how players see Syria at this moment in time. Obviously, as a Milan fan, as a Real fan, when you're thinking about the next move for certain players, you then do raise an eyebrow about how much Oaks care about where they're at. Right? To be in the middle of a title race and to say I'm actually cool on this. Granted, he's making life changing money and he's from
I was about
Georgia.
to,
I can't
yeah.
imagine that there will be more than 10 Georgian players that we know of his level in the next decade or two. Like, I understand what the decision is like on his, like for him as a person, but you hope that the footballing side weighs a little bit more when he doesn't have to move now. He could have waited. He could have moved in the summer. It just feels, it's disappointing. Like I saw Conte speaking about it as well. I'm really saddened by that, about the idea of it. But Siba, where are you on this?
I wish he was signing for Liverpool. But anyway, I do. I mean, I've loved. I think Kvaratskhelia is the last player that I was like, this young new player is my favorite player.
Mm,
Maybe it's Lamine Yamal now, but I don't even totally believe that. So, yeah, Kvara is like, I mean, I was there with the Kvara Donna hype train. What a sexy footballer, man. He plays the beautiful game. For him to go to PSG now, I agree with you. It's the January-ness that's
Mm,
sad. It's like,
mm,
dude, we know, like, this offer will be there for you in the summer, surely,
mm,
especially if you get over the line and actually win a second Scudetto for Napoli.
mm.
That would be the second one in their history, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Maradona won it as
Um,
well.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
second in recent
Oh, it
history.
would be since Maradona.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. If you want to, jeez, mudded Maradona's legacy at his most famous club. Anyway, um, I really wanted for Kvicha to go in the summer, but I don't blame him. This is a life changing bag. Because what are they talking about? Like 350K a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's like, I know the bag chasing thing is horrible, but I also okay. I also don't like how it disrupts PSG as well. Like Bokala,
Yeah, Kanya's
Hey
in
man,
trouble. Kanya's in trouble.
what's
That's
I'm in
his
trouble.
boy. That's his boy.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
no, no,
Where's
don't
the L
wait.
for
That's your
me?
boy. That's your
Where's the
boy.
L for me?
That's
Where's the L for
what
that
me?
is
means your boy is
happening
gonna chow
there? Like,
bench. The guy that you believe is better than everyone is done. What's gonna happen?
This is better than everyone. I just think he's better than Nani. That's really it. If Nani is everyone, if Nani is this super high bar that you guys believe him to be, then I'm sorry we didn't watch him at the same time. Maybe you guys are reminiscing about those 9 games in the season when Nani was the one. but for me,
Nani and Willian is a closer debate. I'm in agreement with you. But I think
and I don't know who I'm picking. I really
actually,
don't know
You
who I'm
guys are
picking.
wilding. You're wilding.
Hey man.
no, but I think okay. I think Kivicha. Um, I've considered the possibility that maybe this is a ploy to try and boost his profile at the club and try
Mm,
and get that kind of money at Napoli because it's a very popular tactic. Trent literally did it with Liverpool, and it looks like it's working. Um, so
you think?
yeah,
You think
I
this guy's
I
crazy?
do. I did, bro.
You
Real
think?
Madrid is supposed to sign
You
Trent
think if
now,
Madrid?
but
You think if Madrid bid for Trent, he doesn't want to go. He just wants to boost his thing. Are you mad?
no, it's not just that he wants to do that. It's just okay. I'll say it like this. Well, I don't think that Trent wants to leave Liverpool because he wants to leave Liverpool. I don't think he looks at it as like the docks are shit, weather shit, everything sucks here. I want to go and eat paella with Jude Bellingham. I don't think that's why Trent wants to go to Real Madrid.
I think you
Yes, the
want.
trophies thing is a big, tantalizing offer, but Trent has won trophies. So it's not like something of I'm gonna retire. He's won things, a lot of things, everything really,
I think the mistake
and
you're making here is thinking that Real Madrid and Liverpool are the same. Liverpool's a great club.
that's not a mistake I made. That is
You
an
know,
assumption you have made. I don't think that. I do not think that at all.
he
I
just
know
wants to
Trent
go to
can
Madrid.
definitely. Trent knows he can make more money at Madrid. Of course he can. So if he keeps flirting with them and going on dates and saying, "Yeah, look, I'm going out with Real Madrid right now. Like, are you gonna come get me or not?" Liverpool have to bump the cheese up because he gets the best of both worlds if he's rich and at Liverpool. But I think he is saying, I'll sell you out for money if you don't do the right thing. But if we offer him what he's asking for 300K, I think we keep him. That's my 2 cents. I don't think we're the same
Do you know?
because Madrid just have to say, I'll give you 600 and then it's done.
Do you know
Boom.
you've offered him this 300K?
Dude, who told you that?
Hey,
The
these
day
Mvu
before on stage,
sources.
did he
Let's
WhatsApp
hear
you?
you.
Did he WhatsApp you
Yo,
that?
whoa.
What do you mean it's
This
Mvu
Mvu
sources?
exclusive.
What do you
Yeah,
mean
where did you get this information from?
guys? You can watch Sky Sports and you'll hear and you'll see these things. It's been put on the
No, no,
table.
no.
It's not something I'm making
They
up.
offered him a deal. Did they offer him
Yes.
300K?
Ah,
Yes.
that one is not, that's
I'll
unfounded.
find the link where Carragher also speaks about it, and then you'll see. It's not. I'm not
Okay.
saying. I'm not saying something that I've just made up. I watched
Oh,
the
I hope
video.
I hope not. I hope not because we're live here. This is crazy.
It's
This
okay.
this is this is
Even
this would be a
even
terrible look.
I think it might have even been one of the episodes on Overlap where Carragher spoke about it.
Okay, but even
Okay.
if that's true, even if we have offered him this 300K thing, okay, since you know everything about this deal, what did Trent say?
Okay.
What,
Let
what,
me
did, what did Trent say
rephrase.
to this offer?
Let me rephrase. Carragher said. the same-
No, I don't want
Carragher
to hear that.
said.
The worst Liverpool commentator in the world right now. I hate that guy. Oh my
I would like
goodness.
to think he's a bit more reputable with the deal stuff, but it was one of these episodes. I'll double check. But yeah, as far as I understand, he has been offered this deal, but I just don't think he's. Wasn't he asking for like 350 as well? He's not
He
asking for
was.
300K.
Eh,
So
yeah. Okay. Also, what's important to note is that he's not a Real Madrid, is he?
well, of course not.
This this
Is
this
he?
this sounds like some copium.
Yeah,
But
sounds like some copium.
look, so Siba,
Jeez.
look, I think you're within your rights to believe Trent won't leave. I think he is leaving. I think it's a bad idea for Madrid to sign him. Funny enough, but
Same. Same.
we move. Kavicha Mvu, where do you land on that? Are you thinking?
I have no thoughts. I will be honest with you.
Okay,
I have no
no,
thoughts.
that's fair.
I
That's
would
fair.
want to see
That's
him in
fair.
the Premier League and not in League One, but I have no thoughts.
Mm, mm.
Yo, he's gonna do nothing in League On. Wow. Yo, travesty for football, man. He must just sign for like I don't know Chelsea or something. If it comes to that,
This guy,
I,
I
more than anything else.
that's the most plausible thing. Like if it comes to that, just sign for Chelsea, bro. Just do it, dog.
Look. In this episode, we've discussed pretty much everything in Europe at this point in time. We're in the new year. We have lots more debates never die on its way. We still have an episode in person where I'll be wearing a United top as per the agreement. Thank you, Ahmad Diallo, for that one. Lads, is there anything else you'd like to leave the listeners with before we wrap this up? And Boo, we'll go to you first.
you spoke about luck
Mm,
wearing and a balance when we last had this Liverpool Arsenal debate. Do you still believe in this luck? And also, like I said to you, I think we've also ridden our luck in that we've had most our core players fit for a large part of last season, and this season it hasn't been the case. So
mm.
is luck not balancing out for us?
I will have my full answer for you by the end of January. As frustrated as I am, and again, these frustrations are not new. I must be honest, I have had questions about Arteta for quite some time. We're just getting to a point where I don't know how much patience I still have. I
I think
believe
you
our luck
dislike
will turn.
Arteta more than me, but Malcolm thinks
I,
I
no, I,
like.
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. You're right. That is correct. That is true. That is true. I've just tried my best to hold it and say I'm wrong. I'm wrong about this guy because I have to believe I'm wrong about this guy. See, but you remember many years ago, in fact, when Arsenal played Liverpool, I want to say 2021, what I said to you was, I believe Arteta will make Arsenal competitive again. That will be his
Mm,
lasting legacy.
mm.
And right now, I feel like I'm going to be right in the worst way, but I'll be right back then and not most recently right about how I thought the season would go. But in terms of how I like balancing out, I will only know if I still believe that at the end of Jan. Arsenal from now until Jan play 3 more home games. I'd like to think that we're going to show up in a way that means this will look like just a blip. That these past 3 games will put them behind us, and we'll see the Arsenal that I thought we would see in December. There's still time, and as you said, I need to see Arsenal show up in the Carabao Cup semi-final. We play Newcastle after we play City at home. If ever there's a time for Arteta to get this team ready to
to
show
prove
us
he's a
that
G. Now's the time.
when you have 2 massive games in the same week, when you have to
Mm.
make it work against the odds, when you have to just say, guys, there is no other way the season works out if you do not win these games.
Yep.
So we'll know in a month's time. For now, all I can say is there's still time. If I said that there was nothing now, it wouldn't make sense because a month ago there was still time. I'm going to stand by that. But I will say I am more than just annoyed right now. Mr. Mohlala, your final thoughts?
Um, Nothing major here. I just want Arne Slot to play Harvey Elliott more. That's it.
And that concludes the most boring point anyone has ever ended on
This guy,
in the history of Debates
Harvey
Never Die.
Elliott.
Harvey
This
Elliott in
guy.
Well, you want
2025.
This
I
is
am
worse
astonished.
than my Carrick shot that you guys made fun of. Way worse.
It is.
What the
It
Way
is.
hell do
worse.
you guys want?
I don't think Harvey Elliott would bring up Harvey Elliott at this moment in time.
Of course not. He would never. He respects us.
Guys.
In no ways.
But that being
What
said,
do you mean?
lads,
We still
thank
have
you.
your point to end on.
What do you mean? I've said my point.
Which was?
That we need a month. We need time. It's not done yet. Arteta has to show
Yeah.
us. Yes.
As if that's a more riveting point. But anyway, okay, fine. They're all
Then Harvey Elliott, it definitely is. It definitely is. The fate of Arsenal is the fate of Harvey Elliott. My brother, I promise you, there's nothing. There's nothing in that comparison. But to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us the time. Thank you for joining us. We will be back very, very soon. Happy New Year. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. We're out.